In today's one-on-one video, I'm going to show you how I set up this hitch carrier to my vehicle. So if you're like me, you might not want to own a pickup truck and you need a way to get your bike around. I also don't want to own a trailer, don't want to have the space taken up. So this is my vehicle. This is a Subaru Outback, and I'll show you how I set this up to work with my bike. I used to do van life full time, so I had a hitch carrier on the back of my van with bigger motorcycles, and I had to adapt this a little bit for this vehicle. So, as you can see, this is a hitch carrier by the brand Black Widow. This is, I think they're like pro model dirt bike one. It's rated for about 400 pounds. Perfect for an E-Moto. I don't have the battery in the bike right now, but you can easily put one in there. And I'll show you how I set it up first. So one of the first things you have to do when you set this up is you need a hitch that's rated at a pretty high level. This hitch down here is bolted in, kind of see. That's rated at 750 pounds for the tongue weight. The tongue weight's super important when it comes to this. You want to make sure you have as much support as you can bolted to the frame of the vehicle. Yes, you can get by with something with less tongue weight, but seeing bolts like that usually gives you a pretty high level. Another dilemma that I had with this vehicle is that this hitch actually sat super far in right here. Well, it was actually a little bit low too to the ground. So I got this little riser, and mechanically that works against you quite a bit just because it adds more leverage to the bike back here. But that's a 4-inch riser, lifts it 4 inches from where it's at. You'll also see that I have these little anti-rattle devices here on both sections. That keeps it from swaying back and forth. When you grip onto it, it doesn't rattle around. That's super nice. Just a regular pin back in there. I actually have a locking pin right here. That's one that I had on my van. What I actually like about this is when I take it out, I'll actually use this as like a handle to help carry it around. But what's nice about these is that you need a key to be able to take them out, so people can't just steal your hitch carrier from you. All right, moving on. You'll see that the ramp is stored back here. It comes with this ability. I actually had to drill these holes in it, but it's super nice to be able to carry your ramp on the back, not have to put it in your vehicle. Just a little pro tip that I had. You see this little foam right here? That's actually some packaging material that came with the carrier when I bought it. And this would just like bang on this piece of metal here if I didn't have that. So I just basically zip tied a little bit of that foam in there, that packaging foam. It looks like I have 2 layers of it just to keep it from vibrating back there when I'm going down the road. Keeps it nice and quiet. All right, now let's talk about strapping the bike down. Well, actually, before that, let's talk about the ramp and how it functions. So this end of the ramp is the end you ride the bike up on. And then this end here has this special lip. What I like about that is that you can either put it on this side, around this tube right here, or the other side has the same exact thing, so you can roll it off. Actually, when I'm parked at my spot at home, my parking space, I'll actually back the bike up on here just because it makes sense based on the direction I'm parked in, so I don't have to configure where my vehicle's at. So that's kind of nice. All right, getting to the straps. I love these straps that I got. I think they're by the brand Rhino. Yeah, Rhino USA. You can get these on Amazon. What I really like about these is that they have these soft loops up top, so you don't need to add them. They're already integrated into the strap. They also have these camming beaners on them, which makes it so this can't pop loose on you. I've used ratchets in the past, and they work really well for a bigger bike, but for this bike, I really like this instead. So, again, locking down low, not locking, but something that's not gonna fall off. And then you strap that down. You could get rid of all this excess strap. Like realistically, I probably don't need all this. I'm just keeping it just in case I do end up needing it. I have these little like cable whip things. This is just a way to store the cable neatly, keep it from flapping in the wind. What I really like about the design of this though, is that you see how the straps are going toward the center rather than like going toward traditionally like the front like you see on a lot of carriers. It keeps the suspension from being squatted quite a bit, and it's super sturdy, especially when you have those special kind of beaners like that. It's way more sturdy, compresses the suspension less. You don't want to wreck your fork seals. And then back here, just added safety. You can put whatever around this. I've seen people use just like webbing from climbing, things like that. But this is something I got from Giant Loop. I think they call it like a volet strap. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but yeah, these are awesome. You can literally, here, I'll show you how like I take it loose. Just pop it like that. it's a one-handed thing. Super nice. That comes loose. Then you can use this for, you know, whatever else, strapping things down. But yeah, that's the setup. Pretty slick. Oh yeah, one other thing I added before I forget. Doesn't come with these, but check out the lights that I added here. $25. I think Kurt, the Hitch company, makes those. Super nice, because realistically, you know, when you're driving down the road like this, imagine your car behind me. It's pretty hard to see my turn signals and my lights. Like, you can kind of see them, but if you get at the wrong angle, that's pretty dangerous. So super easy to add that trailer wiring kit. Just add a wiring harness for your vehicle and you should be set.